Hello, good evening, everyone. Welcome to today's Board of Zoning Appeals meeting. We can start with application numbers 177 and 178, 66 Colvin Avenue. There are no microphones today. System broke. Okay, so yes. So there are no microphones, so we can speak nice and loud so we can hear you. I don't know if there's anyone watching on Zoom yet, but just in case someone joins, I'm going to hear you as well. So thank you for elevating.
All right, I'm Tom Wheeler with AJ Signs. Did Kristen submit some additional maps to you? Are they up here? Okay, awesome, thank you. So I'm back regarding the sign for Metro Movers. I got some more information. I got some Chick-fil-A information. I got site plans and landscape plans and all the stuff we talked about the last time. So just to recap, there's an existing sign structure on the property at Metro Movers. It was a gas station sign at one point. What we want to do is most of what's there is removed, so we're going to put Metro Movers on top, Chick-fil-A on the bottom. There's a map that shows where the sign goes. They actually carved this little spot out where the sign is, and it's on the Metro Movers property by a little bit. So yeah, there's a picture of the sign. So Metro Movers on top, Chick-fil-A on the bottom. And again, the sign's on the Metro Movers property, not Chick-fil-A property. So the sign, like I said, they kind of carved out where the sign is on the map, so it's on the Metro Movers property. I have a landscape plan here which shows what Chick-fil-A ultimately is going to look like and what they're going to do to the property. That's not it. That shows the sign. If you look on the far left bottom, you see the sign. You see the little notch in the property line that leaves it on the Metro Movers property. Chick-fil-A is the building on the far right. That's parking. So the sign, in order to be seen from Central, you're going to be looking over the cars and the Chick-fil-A. And then I believe the next map is the landscape plan. They're actually planting trees all along the front of Colvin. There's some trees in the median to the top of the drive-through lanes. So we need this height and the size of the sign just so it can be seen at all. Since the structure is existing, the environmental impact is minimal, rather than there it is. Rather than take this down and do something different, we'll just use what's there, put new faces in it, minimal environmental impact. It fits in with the surroundings of the area, and again, we're really just trying to gain some visibility for Metro Movers, which is now essentially set behind the Chick-fil-A property, since their property is what you see in front there. It's 80 feet off of Colvin Avenue as well, so the sign's set back quite a bit. But again, it's really the only spot to put a sign because Chick-fil-A owns everything in front of Metro Movers.
So the two maps that, this one and then this map were the only two that were submitted to me this afternoon.
Okay,
I
so
don't
she didn't
have
get
the-
the landscape plan?
I don't have the landscape.
I have copies of that, I can pass out if you guys want to see it. Yeah. The last map in there. So the last page shows the landscape plan, which shows the trees and the plantings that they're going to install. And then it also depicts that there's really no, Metro Movers really has no frontage. You want another one?
I didn't realize. I was like, oh, staff needs a copy. Yeah.
But you can also see the Metro Movers has no frontage on Colvin, nowhere to put a monument sign except for where the existing is, where when they did the delineations, they carved out that little spot to leave it there on their property. So the whole thing was premeditated when they did their site plan.
Do you have anything else you want to present before I open the floor for questions?
You guys want to ask me some questions that you have, I'll go from there.
So first I'll open up the floor for members, see if there are any questions that you have for this applicant so far.
None.
Did you meet up with planning staff to discuss potential monument style sign options with anyone on your team?
There's nowhere to put a monument sign because Chick-fil-A owns all the property in front of Metro Movers. That's why the sign, if you look in the map again, there's that little carved out spot where the sign is, so that it stays on their property, which is, I mean, this all goes back to the planning when they separated the lot to give Chick-fil-A their property. I wasn't part of that, but they left this sign on the Metro property with the intention that this would be their sign. So if we did something smaller, 80 feet off of Colvin, it'd be invisible over the whole frontage of Chick-fil-A's parking lot and landscape plan.
So, did you all decide that a meeting was unnecessary regarding the monument sign, given what you just said?
Right, yeah, there's no way to do a monument sign.
And did you provide a Department of Transportation guidance for wayfinding?
No, I don't. I mean, there's, in terms of what?
With respect to the application, it would be helpful to have the information regarding the wayfinding, Department of Transportation guidance. Was that something that you all considered or tried to complete and submit with your application?
The DOT doesn't really have guidance regarding wayfinding. They'll have, you know, as long as it's not a distraction to motorists, they really don't get involved.
Does staff have any response to that? Is it not the case that there's a Department of Transportation guidance for wayfinding?
The Department of Transportation guidance for wayfinding was a recommendation during the April meeting, along with meeting with planning staff to discuss potential monument style signs as well as hours of operation. So those were the recommendations based on our meeting in April. And I'd have to go through the minutes.
Sounds like they probably determined, because you did receive these recommendations in the April meeting, correct? Okay, if I see that you're providing, for example, this landscaping, and then there were some documents that were submitted earlier today.
Yeah.
What were the other two documents that you said you submitted that were submitted earlier today?
Really just maps, the Chick-fil-A maps, and the Chick-fil-A drawings of them on the monument sign. They're not on this agenda, they'll be on a future agenda for an off-premise sign, because the sign's on the Metro Movers property, so their panel will be considered an off-premise sign.
And what are the hours of operation?
For the storage facility, it's not yet definitive, but it's typically a 9 to 5 daytime operation. There's a person at a desk inside.
And then you stated that.
Serena, do you mind if I follow up
Yeah,
on that?
sure, absolutely.
I just wanna clarify, because it's a storage facility, right?
Mhm.
So, I think to the question, is it 9 to 5 that staff will be on site? So if customers have a key to their storage facility, are they able to access it outside of those hours, or are they only able to access it during that 9 to 5 window?
As far as I understand, it's when they're open, when someone's there is when they're able to access their stuff.
Okay.
Not high traffic either, you know, it's not like everybody goes at once and gets their stuff, we have a person here and there, very low traffic business.
Thanks. Sorry, Serena.
Yeah, no, probably, good question. So in addition to the two signs that we're considering today, do you have other signs that will be on this property in addition to these that don't require a variance?
For Metro Movers, yes, we actually installed it, this week. There's channel letters up on the building. It used to say Armory Garage up on top. That was allowed without a variance. That is installed. So it's on the very top of the building, set back.
You don't have pictures of that, do you?
I do not have pictures that would be. I might. Let me see. Here it is.
Do you know if the sign here is visible from Colton?
Yeah, if you're driving by and you look to the right, you'll see it's in Colvin, 'cause it's on the top of the building.
Okay, could you speak more about the maximum size needed to achieve your desired benefit? Because this variance is asking for a big difference from what the code allows. So why are you asking for such a big variance?
The biggest reason, that's the existing structure, it's gonna match what was there before. Number two, the sign's 80 feet off of Colvin, so it's set way back. So, even at this size, it's gonna be tough to read. Ideally, bigger sign would be more effective, but we wanna use what's there. So it's really distance off the road, the amount of congestion in the front of this space, because Chick-fil-A goes right through the front of there, and then it's an existing structure.
Are you aware that the existing structure does not comply with the USDO requirements? So it would be preferable to remove it and replace it with a sign that does comply. So, did you know that the existing sign doesn't comply with the USDO? Or was it known by the?
Yeah, but it's so far back off the road, and you know, it's been there for years, and the reason it was the size it is so that it's readable. Anything smaller or lower would not be at all effective.
I think that's part of the reason why the recommendation was for the Department of Transportation guidance for wayfinding, because when you say it wouldn't be visible, you mean for people to find the location, right? While they're driving down this busy road.
We've worked with DOT on projects in the past. All they really care about is just not a distraction to motorists. Digital signs, that type of thing, that it doesn't change more than every 6 seconds. Things like that. This kind of thing, they're gonna say it's not a distraction, great. So they don't really get involved with wayfinding.
Board members, are there any other questions for this?
No, thank you.
So, is there anyone online?
There is no one online, but I would like to put on the record that we did have written public comments for this project. And along with that, I would also like to put on the record that this application is for an area variance, and were no waivers applied for or requested for this variance. There was some comments of waivers, so I would like to put that on the record.
That was a possible alternative route. And is there anyone here, or did anyone sign up to speak today, or?
No in-person comments.
Should we pull up the written comments?
I can.
well.
They're all one letter for both
Okay,
agenda items.
alright, yeah, so that's good, yeah, if you don't mind just reading that, it's one letter.
I'm sorry, 3 written letters, and each letter mentions both agenda items.
Okay, I got it, okay, cool, cool,
Yeah,
yes.
so let me-
And you can paraphrase it a little bit.
Okay. So, to the zoning board, businesses need signage is indisputable. When I'm uncertain about where to find a business, I appreciate being able to spot it through a distinctive landmark. The concerns were for number 1, while a waiver requests are a reasonable part of the zoning process, they must be the last resort, and they must show that the applicant has not brought the problem on itself. As we have seen with the Colvin Avenue projects, there are questions about whether the property ever was right for the projects in the first place. That remains the fundamental consideration, not land use that can be endlessly tweaked to accommodate a proposal that should be elsewhere. That speaks to the waiver comment prior. In this day of GPS, the need for larger signage as the only way to get a customer to a business is long gone. And for good or for bad, Albany is not a metropolis. The population is under 100,000. Knows what is going on in terms of retail. Colvin Ave is about 2 blocks long. There is no question that people who want to find storage will be able to do so easily without larger signs. And for the most part, signage is a passive ingredient of the business. That is, it often exists as an eyesore, far more during the course of a day than it does an invitation to shop there. Modesty in scale and appealing design must be the watchwords for such advertising. That is letter 1.
Yeah, you too.
Paul Lamar.
Okay.
And the second one is from Karen Den Knuff, yes. This letter says, "Dear board members, I drove to Coxsackie this past weekend. The heavy commercial strip of this community is located on State Route 9W. I noticed the McDonald's restaurant sign was monument style. It was visible from a car at eye level for quite a distance. There are many businesses along this route, including Stewart's. The planning and zoning boards in Coxsackie have managed to maintain a business district that does not imitate the Las Vegas Strip. Has anyone considered the probable safety in using monument-style signs? When a driver is looking up and ahead, they are ignoring what is around them, like pedestrians, bicycles, other vehicles. I want you to consider improving the character and safety of Albany's streets, which are lined with businesses vying for space in our community. The public is asking why the USDO isn't being followed. Project 0048466 Colvin Avenue, A Metro Self-Storage is asking for 2 excessive waivers. They want signage almost 3 times what is allowed. Please deny their request and follow the USDO. It was designed to enhance Albany development. Approval of these waivers will not." And that is from Karen Den.
And at the end of these letters, you'll get an opportunity to respond. We have one more, correct?
Yes, and this is Carol Carmen. Currently, there exists one freestanding sign for the new Asian food market on Colvin Avenue. This business has existed at this location for close to 2 decades. Since that time, the City of Albany developed a Unified Sustainable Development Ordinance documenting the maximum square footage of a freestanding sign to be 24 square feet. Do we want Colvin Ave to become another Central Ave with either increasing heights and square footage of freestanding signs? I have serious concerns that A Metro Self-Storage knowingly is aware their requests are absurd. In reality, their strategy is that they would be content with anything less than their request, but greater than that which has been documented in the USDO. I ask the zoning board to consider the following. 2 signs. Their facility on Troy Schenectady Road appears to have 1 freestanding sign. What is the strategy behind 2 signs? Number 2, who is their competition and where are they located? What signs do they have? Are any of their freestanding signs? If so, how high and large are they? Number 3, how much time and effort were expended in developing the USDO? What % of waivers have been granted since the USDO was implemented? Number 4, what is the purpose of having a USDO document if every time a developer petitions for a waiver, the waiver is granted? Albany, located on the corner of Central and Colvin, has 1 freestanding sign on Central Avenue. Oliver's Beverage has no freestanding signs. All other Colvin Ave businesses rely on signs affixed to their building. If A Metro Storage has both signs approved, how long before some other business on Colvin Ave wishes to have multiple signs above the USDO approved height and square footage limit? Will each subsequent project want increasingly more signs that are higher and larger? Where does it end? At 30 feet, 40 feet, 50 feet high? The City of Albany's zoning board should hold A Metro to a minimum of 1 sign that is a maximum of 5 feet as laid out in the USDO.
Okay, that's the 3rd letter, correct? Correct. Okay, so now it's your opportunity to respond to the public comments.
Sure. I think the biggest thing that the public doesn't know is the way this parcel's carved out, that there is no frontage for Metro. It's a business that complements the Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A is busy, a lot of traffic. Storage facility is not busy, very little traffic at all. So we put that in the back if there's little traffic impact. But again, there's no frontage on Colvin for them to put a monument style sign. So since we're 80 feet back with the 1 little spot that's carved out for the existing sign, that's really where it needs to go. Other storage facilities, I make the signs for Maybes. Every facility they have has a lot more signs than this. Working on one at Hudson right now that's got a monument and 3 wall signs. So this is actually very modest for a storage facility. The other metros I've done, his primary marketing method is the sign. He said he gets calls off the sign, and that's how he fills the storage facilities. So it's super important for him. There is no change at all to the area because Armory Garage was there. They had a sign on the top where we put the wall sign, so that's no change. And then this sign was there, so that's no change. So there's really no change or impact to the neighborhood because it's exactly what's there now. What's there now is what was there before. Just says something different. Again, we tried to, took 2 months to work on this and try to come up with a different way, and there really is none due to the 80 feet off of Colvin, the traffic in front, and then the way the property's carved, there's really only that 1 spot to have a sign.
And could you repeat what you were saying about the waiver that was recommended previously that?
Yes, this request is for an area variance. There were no waivers granted or applied for, so the comments regarding waivers are not applicable to the area variance here today.
So did you all consider getting a waiver? Is that a consideration for them, or they just couldn't in this case? Okay, gotcha, so it's just not.
Yes, it's just
Gotcha.
not,
Cool, never mind, let's strike that question. Okay, alright, so those were the public comments. So then I'll just give one final opportunity for the board members if there are any other questions for this applicant based on the public comments or answers to previous questions. The existing monument sign that you're referring to, or the sign that's already there, how tall is that one?
The existing sign, each panel is 8 by 8. It's about 30 feet tall. So you have an 8-foot panel for Metro, an 8-foot panel for Chick-fil-A, and then you're about 10 feet to grade, so it's about 28 feet tall.
So should we vote for this?
I would like to mention a few things from the staff notes. we had asked the applicant to provide hours of operation, Department of Transportation guidance for wayfinding, and to meet with planning staff to discuss potential monument style signs. Those recommendations were not met. And additionally, the mention of the Chick-fil-A sign going on the bottom portion of this, that is a separate application and process. Additionally, off-premise signs are not permitted, so that sign would not and will not be approved. So
That's a variance then, right?
we would like to put that on the record that off-premise signs are not permitted. There hasn't been a permit or an application for a Chick-fil-A sign in this location, so it's not really applicable to the area variance that we're discussing here today.
Because were you aware of that?
What's that?
Were you aware of what she just said about
Yeah, I brought that up earlier.
off premises?
It's an off-premise sign, so that'll be a variance, I believe it is submitted in the office somewhere. But yeah, that'll be a variance for a later meeting.
Alright, so would that variance be related, is that something that the Chick-fil-A people have to forward, separate from this particular?
My understanding is the applicant, I'm guessing, who will be Chick-fil-A, who they use for their other signs, would submit an application and,
We're the applicant for that.
okay,
Yeah,
so
it got submitted.
it did?
Oh, yeah.
And
Kristen submitted it.
did you receive a denial letter for it?
Yep, it's got, I think she did get a denial letter, and I think she submitted a variance. Yeah, you should have it.
We haven't received any variance for that sign, so,
Do we have a denial letter?
okay, well, then let the record show that that sign permit was denied because it is not permitted.
You were here before us the first time around the wall sign that's out on the building. Remind me, it wasn't up at that point, was it?
It was not, no, we had it's permitted without a variance. That's allowed.
Should we take a vote on this now, or?
Yeah, I'll make a motion. I'll just say, I do appreciate your time, I think that's the second time you've been in front of us. You supplied plenty of information to the planning board, and plenty of information here. And obviously, some of it is beyond your control as you're the person putting up the sign, right? And, you know, two of the factors, that really swayed my decision here, substantiality of the request, right, it's a significant ask. And the self-created difficulty, not to hold anything against you, but as you said, the person who owns the business feels like signs are the way to market, that's a self-created difficulty, that's a choice. But I do appreciate your time, however, for the reasons I stated, I'm gonna make a motion to deny, area variance 177, based on those two factors for me.
Second.
I also vote to deny, so I'll take the roll call. Jaleesa, how do you vote?
Or yes to the deny. So it's double.
I have a little brain fart here today. Paige. I'm so sorry. How do you vote? I'm sorry.
Deny.
And Serena, I do remember my name, I vote to deny, so I'm sorry, but unfortunately the variance request has been denied for 177. Okay, for 178.
For the same reasons, I'm gonna, just for the record, the substantiality, right, we're looking at a, 300% increase in the size and the self-created nature of the difficulty. Also gonna make a motion to deny area variance 178.
Second.
I also vote to deny, so we'll do roll call. Jaleesa, how do you vote?
Yes on the motion to deny.
Okay, Paige
Second to deny.
and Serena, third on denying, so unfortunately, 178 is also denied. Thank you for your time.
Alright, thank you.
Alright, next we're going to call up project 583 area variance 180 and 184. Price Chopper.
Good evening, everyone.
Anything?
So we have two variances that we're applying for. One is for one wall sign with a maximum square footage of 32 square feet. We're proposing one building sign that has 124.5 square feet. That's what I'm referring to in the package is our store identity sign, which is a Market 32 by Price Chopper that would go on the front facade. The second variance that we're applying for is one building sign, and we're looking to have 9 building signs that kind of indicate the departments and the categories that we're offering within inside the store. As part of the application, and that has, and I also referred to square footages on those 9 signs too, because I'm trying to relate that to other stores and our current Price Chopper store that has these category signs on their facade also. So for the first one in the package, yeah, we are, so I did a comparison, so that's the site plan. And all the signs are on the front facade of the building itself, which is very similar to what ShopRite had. If you go to, and that's your chart out of there. There's should be a diagram of the front facade of the store.
There's a lot of photos in here.
Yes, that one there. Okay, so that's the proposed front elevation of the store. And you'll see on the left-hand side, you'll see the Market 32 internally illuminated sign. That internally illuminated sign will be on from dusk to dawn. There's a timer inside the store that would only turn it on from dusk to dawn. The other category signs are the smaller ones that are on the facade above the windows. There's a welcome sign on the left-hand side of the store, which is where we consider our main entrance to the store. That's typically where our produce section and our fresh area is located within the store. And then we have different category signs, the butcher department, seafood department. On the far right-hand side, that's where the reverse vending machines are located, similar to what Price Chopper had. So that gives our customers an idea of where that's located. Even the color kind of helps represent where the customers need to go to that. The Market 32 sign and the department signs are very similar to actually the other 3 ShopRite stores that we're going to be reopening and received approval for the signage on those. I also included in this package, there are other Market 32 stores in the area, 16 of them, where I tried to give an idea of quantity of signs that were used in those to be able to create a relationship between what we have in other stores in the Capital District and then what we would be proposing for these stores. I can say this, that the South Colony store, the signage is in there, there's an elevation. It's actually the opposite hand of this store. That's our Niskayuna store. So I actually did a presentation in front of the village of Niskayuna for all that signage there. They approved that. We do have that signage installed on it. It's very similar. Actually, I think the quantity of signs on this store are more because we had an opportunity for a marketplace sign on the left-hand side top, just kind of defining that plaza area.
Just for reference, is that the one in the plaza with like the Target in Niskayuna?
No. That's our Balltown Road store, and actually I had to go in front of the village of Niskayuna. I think we did that store 3 or 4 years ago, and I had to present the signage for approval there. Actually, there's probably more signs on that one where the Target store is located than we have on this store. And I think the next one may be, yeah, okay, so that's our South Colony store. Pretty much the same thing, just opposite hand. The only thing there, they have a great big canopy kind of in the middle on the left-hand side where customers can drive underneath there to get their grocery pickup orders. Similar quantity of signs, similar square footage, both on the Market 32. I can say this too. So our Market 32 sign in all four of these stores is 124.5 square feet. That's our middle size sign. Our larger sign is 178.5 square feet, but in the height of the facade, that sign wouldn't work. It would be too big. And we do have a much smaller one at 81 square feet, which would be too small for that. So when we were doing the layout for this, you know, we always take into account what's an appropriate size sign for the facade. The department signs are non-illuminated. They are white letters. They're a plastic letter that gets applied to the face of the sign. We have enough lighting within our parking lots, so at nighttime they're well illuminated. And again, the purpose is trying to give our customers an idea of where those departments are located within the store.
So just to make sure I understand it, there's a correlation essentially between the aisle and where the respective like butcher sign is, produce.
Yeah, so again, the welcome sign on the far right-hand side, that's where we wanted to come in. And the next sign is produce, which is that area. And we have food fair and deli and butcher and meat that are in the back of the store. Dairy is.
Something new, I was like, oh, I've seen that and I'll found it.
Yeah, and most of these stores have two entrances, so on the left-hand side, you'll see dairy, and there's an entrance over there. So if you park in a parking lot and you only wanna go to the dairy aisle and you park over in that area, you'll have an idea of where it is.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
I know, I was like, oh.
Yeah, if nobody knows that, then do you really need
Right.
nine signs indicating
Yeah.
the departments, since people don't know that there's a correlation between the signs and the aisles?
Probably not, right? You know, but quite honestly, you know, when the customers go in there one or two times, if it's a new store like these will be, right, you know, they're gonna know where the produce department is after going to the store a few times.
Are there other groceries in the Capital District that do not have the department signs on them?
Yeah, we do have a few stores that are Market 32s, we have
I actually wanted to follow
Madison Avenue.
and Lark, which I noted on the last screen was noted as a small store.
Yeah, it's a very small facade on there. Now,
What makes it small, I guess, in
Right, that's what I was
comparison
like,
to this?
when you have the list of all the signs,
Yeah.
it's sort of correlation between this square footage has this number, but
Yeah.
we have this
But
facade.
it really depends on the opportunity on the facade. And we also try to set up a rhythm, like there's some columns in the front, so you'll see the signs are located in between those columns. But those other two stores that are right here in the city of Albany, there was no opportunity for something other than a Market 32 sign.
Because of the size of the building?
Yeah, due to the size of the building, yeah. They are very small footprint of stores. These are 60,000 square feet
This
and
is the
approximately that
building
range.
in question for reference.
If you go, I think the next one is our store over in North Greenbush. Yeah, so here's the architecture over in North Greenbush. In this particular store, the landlord would not allow us to paint the exterior of the store our brand colors, which is something we also do and we would do on this store. And it's already been painted, but so you'll see the Market 32 in the middle of that triangular piece in the center of the store. And we expanded that color ethos there to really make it a predominant image on the store. And then again, on the far right-hand side, you can see the store from another street. So we had a second Market 32. So this one probably has more square footages because of the large signs than the other stores. This was also approved by the town. In the package, I have this set of drawings called Retail Graphic Package. So quite a few years ago, I've been with Price Chopper for 7 years. These will be our 46th Market 32 remodels that we've done. I think I've been involved in 30 of them. But before I got there, we developed this graphic package with a consultant. And part of that brand package, that we call the brand package, is the exterior signs. And then as well as what happens inside the store. So there's a whole list of items in here that has images of the butcher mural, the bakery mural. And that's part of our brand. You know, this book is, you know, a couple hundred pages long. So, and as well, there are the welcome sign, the pharmacy sign, beer and wine. There are other categories in here that aren't on the facade of the building, but if there was a clinic inside the store, a beauty area inside the store, we don't do those two anymore. We would have those types of categories in there too.
I have a question in the name of wayfinding, so for this particular store, are the only entrances just to the store entirely? This one doesn't have a recycling center anywhere?
So the Central Ave store has recycling boxes under the front facade, outside the footprint of the store. Our grocery pickup program is on the far right-hand side of the store. Actually, I think there's if you go to the ShopRite photos, I think it's slide 33. Oh, okay, you know what, the numbers might be different because you rearranged it. Go one more, I believe. Yeah, okay, so the brown canopy that's on the right-hand side, that's where our customers will go and park underneath that canopy. And there's signs on the wall that says grocery pickup parking stall number 1. So that when someone makes an order, they'll know to go to that stall number 1, number 2, number 3, or number 4. And then our teammates bring the groceries out to them, load them in their car, and then they pull away. So the only signage that would happen is underneath that canopy, so they know which parking stall to park in. One of the other things that I try to do is, like you see the ShopRite sign on the end of the store, and there are 2 more on the front. You know, I consider those part of the identity of ShopRite. So you have the ShopRite script sign. Yeah, so you have the ShopRite script sign, and then you have those large round signs. So when I was trying to do a comparison between our Market 32 sign at, 124.5 square feet, and how much square footage was in the identity of the ShopRite script as well as those round signs, you'll find that our square footage is less than what was approved for the ShopRite store. But I can also say 70 square feet less. But I can also say that our wall signs that I wanna do 9 was more than their one wall sign that they had. They just had the welcome sign.
So this, how far is this Price Chopper from the other one? Because there will now be 2 Price Choppers on Central Avenue,
So
correct?
the Price Chopper store in Westgate will be closing.
Okay.
That's why we purchased this other store. And then similar, our South Colony store that sits off the road farther back, it's near CarMax, is it? The CarMax dealership on Central Ave. So that store will also be closing. And the one that's on what we refer to South Colony, a little bit farther east of that store, that's the one that will be opening. So we're gonna be closing 2 current Price Chopper stores, opening 2 new ones. The ShopRite store in Niskayuna will be a second one within the Niskayuna area, but they are pretty far apart. And then the North Greenbush store, we have Market 32 in East Greenbush, and that's probably 8 miles away from the 2 of them, yet far enough for both of them to be sustainable.
So your closest within the city of Albany then would be to this one, would wind up being, what, Madison Ave? No, what?
Madison Ave and
I guess they would kind of be almost
Yeah.
equidistant across.
so we have, so in the city of Albany, we have Madison Ave and Delaware Ave. And then we'll have this store.
Which one's on Delaware Ave?
That's the Lark Street.
By that middle school.
It's
It's the one if you're walking down from Lark Street. I think of it as the Lark Street one.
Right, okay, so then what's the Madison one?
Up by the
I know.
police station,
Okay.
up on Western, or off of Western.
By the movie theater?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
This is the one
Oh, yeah.
on.
Okay, I was there today, okay.
This is the one
So
on
you'll see-
Delaware.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you'll see that's the, there's the Market 32
Yeah.
sign on there. I bet you that one's the same square footage as the one that we're proposing because the facade is small enough. And this one doesn't have any individual category, signs on the facade.
Can you go to the proposed signage package for this project specifically. Like, what I'm admittedly looking for is, like, I know with like some of the car dealerships we've looked at on Central, it's sort of like, this is the bay for auto parts, so you need to know, like, the
Yeah.
wayfinding correlates with the entrance and exit for it specifically, whereas this one, some of the reservations I have about approving the number of signs is because it's not like there's a door, if I wanna immediately go to produce, or if I immediately wanna go to dairy. Versus like if the recycling center is, you know, off over here, great, there's an entrance and exit for it, so this sign is important to tell me, skip the grocery store, go do my bottle deposit. Same with like welcome cues, this is entrance, ingress, egress, but.
Yeah, and we opted not to put a second welcome sign on the other entrance area over there because this is, you know, this is how we want our customers to come in and shop our store, just like they put the milk all the way in the back area. So you kind of force your customers to go through the whole entire store, hoping they'll shop more. And the whole thing with Market 32 is let's bring them into the fresh area, bring them into the food fair area, bring them into all that fresh stuff first, and then you have the center store, you know, beyond that.
Would there be any appetite for considering reducing the number of wall signs from 9?
I would be open to that discussion, yes.
Yeah, cause we're obviously tasked to give the least
Yeah,
extensive
understand.
variance.
Yeah.
I was like, you've been a number of these, you get it.
Correct, and what we did is we set them all up very similar to one another, right? So I wasn't trying to be, you know, more on one store and less on another store, but, you know, if I went to the Niskayuna board and they said, you know, you can't have 11 or 13, whatever the number was there, you know, we would have that discussion.
What would be the minimum amount of signs that you all would want or could take?
Are you looking for, cause I'm wondering if we're gonna have to stipulate, like, the welcome one, good, Market 32, good, but like scrap dairy, like, are you looking for the number?
Yeah,
or
I'm
specific?
speaking to the little, the location signs, those specific
Cause
signs.
I'm wondering if like in like whatever decision we make, we need to put the condition like welcome is good, cause otherwise it's like 4 random ones could be like dairy, produce, but like the welcome sign is gone.
Yeah. No, so I'll I don't think it's giving anything away to say that I think the Market 32 sign, from my position, the welcome sign are things that I could be comfortable with, that I think part of, and I looked at your presentation before I got here, so but my question is really about those 9 directory signs, for lack of a better word, and if there is a minimum number, as opposed to me saying no to any of them.
Yeah,
Wondering.
no, listen, I wanna walk away tonight with an approval, okay? Our reopening is next Friday, right? So
What is
we don't have any of these signs up on the store, right? So I wanna walk away with whatever kind of compromise, if there is one, to go ahead and install these signs. So if I was to say, certainly the Market 32 sign at 124.5 square feet, the welcome sign would be important to us.
Yep, nope, not talking about those two, the rest
I
of them.
think the produce sign, which is underneath the Market 32 sign, would be important too. I also think that the recycling center on the far right-hand side would be important to us. Okay, you have to forgive me for this, I'm an architect, right?
No, you're fine.
So I wanna have some balance in this, right? Okay, I'll tell you what, I'll start higher than maybe we will get to, but if I was to say, welcome, produce, floral, then the next 3 signs could go away, and those are, it's hard for me to read and I'm trying to remember, I think it's butcher, seafood, and bakery.
So it says florist, butcher, dairy, seafood, produce, bakery, food fair, recycling center.
You know what, let's see here. I'm sorry,
No, you're fine.
I'm having a hard time. Can I walk up there? Do so many of these, I forgot. I'll go around this way. Okay. So welcome, produce, florist, food fair, bakery, seafood, butcher. So I think these 4 signs could go away. And then maybe I leave the dairy and the recycling, so I kind of balance these 3 and these 2.
I have another question with the, I like the term directory sign, so I'm gonna use that. Are there instances on other stores that you're aware of where the directory sign location on the exterior of the building does not correlate to its physical location within the store?
Yeah, there are sometimes. You know, the butcher department is more over in this area of the store than here. Because most of these departments are over on this side of the store. As you walk around the corner, you really, once you get past the butcher department, the next one is really the dairy aisle.
I was just wondering if it's gonna be like, oh, we're just now, like sort of like, oh, I've scrapped this one theoretically because of the balance versus.
Well, I'm doing it both ways.
Yeah.
It's more of an architectural look to it, right? But you know, produce is over here, the floral department is right at the main entryway, so, and then, you know, food fair, bakery, seafood, butcher, they kind of work their way into produce and then around the back of the store, so I certainly do not see a problem if I was to get rid of those. So if I was to say, if I started out with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 department signs and the 1 wall sign, so take away 4 department signs.
Thank you.
And that's, you know, that's more discussions to be had with that too, right?
So do you have any more of your presentation left, or?
So one of the other things I did was I compared the amount of signage to the Price Chopper store that had all that permitting there. And the quantity, and this doesn't even include, there is a Price Chopper sign in the back of the store overlooking 90, and there is also a digital sign back there. I didn't even include those in there, but I was just trying to show here's another example of an older style department signs that were on a Price Chopper store. So this kind of branding is similar to what we're doing, trying to identify the categories that are inside the store.
I have a question for planning staff. I note here that the ShopRite sign was larger than the sign that's being requested today. My memory's a little bit fuzzy. Was the ShopRite put up before the USDO was put in place? I'm just wondering if ShopRite had a variance or if they had managed to get up before the USDO. I feel like I remember the 2 things happening.
I would
Fairly
have
close
to
together.
check, so I will check on that.
I know when I did research for presenting to the town of Niski unit, they provided me the variance application and the paperwork that went in front of the town for that. And I would have to say that's probably an older store than the ShopRite at this location, but I don't know what you guys had in place at that particular moment. And their signage, quite honestly, their signage for all 4 stores was very similar to what they had at the Central Ave store. Very, very similar.
And then this is really just more for the record, just confirming that the actual store is set back pretty far from the sidewalk.
Right.
Right, so there's like sidewalk, parking, a couple of lanes, and then the store itself.
Correct, yeah, the site's pretty deep actually, yeah.
Is Market 32 going to have any correlation with the restaurant? Isn't there a restaurant over there?
So there's
Next
the
door?
OTB, and I think there is a restaurant, no, we don't have any relationship with that. And actually, OTB controls the digital sign, it's on the far left-hand side of the site, the digital rolling sign that's there. But no, we won't, yeah. And again, what I try to do with some of these other pictures is take a look at the other, you know, car dealerships, and as you said, you know, you have the category, the department sign for parts, or one of the dealerships has quite a few, yeah, there it is right there. DePaul Chevrolet has a lot of brand wall signs on theirs, and they have a very few signs for what's inside the garage door area.
Was it the dark? Okay, thank you.
Do we have any public comment?
We have 3 written comments.
These people again, oh, that's good, they're
Yes.
involved, I like it.
Yes.
And I imagine some of their comments are similar to what the gentleman just had here too, right? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, you just
Quite honestly,
just,
you know, what's the allowable for one sign, 35 square feet? Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty small sign. Yeah. And I'm not being critical, I'm not.
Right, no, it's okay, and then as with the last applicant, after we hear the letters, you'll have an opportunity to respond.
Yep.
To points made in those letters.
okay, so I will start with Carol. This is Carol Carmen, Price Chopper's request for a 124.5 square foot wall sign at almost 4 times the current allowable maximum, along with the request for 9 wall signs at 9 times the allowable maximum is overkill and does not comply with the current documented USDO. They're a well-known local grocery store chain that has been a part of the Albany community for decades. With their conscious move from 911 Central to 709, Price Chopper has determined that it is a more advantageous location for their business. In the event that Price Chopper counters that they wish to have signs commensurate, thank you, with their existing store at 911 Central Avenue, they need to understand the USDO was developed since that store opened. Should they cite competition, their nearest competition is 0.6 miles west of the proposed location at 709. So I have serious concerns that Price Chopper knowingly is aware their requests are absurd, hoping to bank on their name recognition and community engagement. Corporations want us to believe that they are at their core benevolent organizations. However, we must remember a corporation is a legal entity created with the purpose of operating to generate revenue and profits. And the zoning board she's asking the zoning board to consider how much time was expanded developing the USDO to throw all that work away. And then the USDO is described as a modernized zoning ordinance designated to integrate land use regulations with sustainable best practices. Do we want Central Ave corridor to become the home to even larger and larger signage? Central Avenue is out of control and currently a visual assault on the senses. That is Carol Carmen. And then the letters from Paul Lamar is the same letter that was read for 66 Colvin.
Okay, so you already read that one.
And the comment from Karen, thank you, Karen Den Knuff is Project 00583 709 Central Avenue. Price Chopper is asking for 2 multi-layered waivers. Please deny their request and follow the USDO. Does Price Chopper really need to boldly broadcast where and who they are? It's unnecessary. Thank you for your consideration.
The floor is yours.
You know, I understand your complaints, I do. I mean, but when I was walking up and down Central Avenue taking photos, there's a lot of signs on a lot of commercial spaces. I understand that, and willing to compromise on the number of signs that would be allowed.
Yes, staff notes.
Yes, so staff notes, applicant is requesting variances to increase the size of the proposed illuminated Market 32 store logo signage and the proposed non-illuminated wall signage indicating various store departments, butcher, dairy, etc. The sign is an unlisted action under seeker and a negative declaration should be issued. ShopRite previously occupied the existing building at 709 Central Avenue with 140.1 square foot identity script sign and 4 identity wall signs totaling 187.8 square feet. The variance requested is consistent with the corporate model for the Market 32 Price Chopper Company, and the number of signs would not cause traffic distractions, because the property is set back approximately 400 feet from the roadway. So,
Any other questions from the board?
No other questions?
Do I have a motion? Would someone like to make a motion?
Yeah, with respect to, actually, I'll first say just, especially because I said something about the substantiality of the last request, I'll simply note that, this store is substantially set back from the street.
But Teresa, just to interrupt, but I think we have to do the negative
Do I have to do
declaration
the negative,
first.
like, do we move for that?
Yes.
I move that we declare a negative declaration for this unlisted action.
And I vote yes too. So Jaleesa, how do you vote on moving to make a secure, what's the word, a negative
Negative,
declaration? Yeah,
yes.
declare a negative declaration. You're
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Paige is yes and Serena is yes, so that motion carries. Okay, and then please continue. Sorry to interrupt you earlier.
No, that's okay, I'll skip to the end. I'll make a motion to approve AZ 183 despite the substantiality of the request for all of the reasons that we've already discussed, as well as the flexibility of the requester with respect to the other application.
And I also vote yes. So roll call, Jaleesa, how do you vote?
Yes.
Paige?
Yes.
And Serena, yes, therefore that motion carries and 183 is approved. Do I have another motion? Would someone like to make another motion?
On one, I'd like to move the 184, please correct me if I'm wrong, for a approval on the condition that instead of 9 wall signs, it is the large Market 32 identity wall sign and then 4 other signs, totaling 5.
Now, while he's writing that down, I think we also have to do the negative
The negative
declaration thing again.
Okay.
So, do I have a motion, would someone like to make a motion regarding the negative declaration?
I move that we issue a seeker negative declaration for this unlisted action associated with AB 184.
Second.
Okay, yeah, and then Serena votes yes, so roll call, Paige, how do you vote?
Yes.
Jaleesa?
Yes.
And Serena, yes, so the motion carries regarding the seeker negative declaration. Now, back to the motion that you were making, Jaleesa, with respect to 184, would you be able to repeat that, please?
Sure, I just first wanna confirm, is it 5 total signs, 1 identity sign, and 4?
For department signs, yeah.
So yes, I move to approve area variance 184 under the condition, that instead of 9 total signs, it will be 5 total signs.
So the way the variances are written, you
Yep.
have 1 identity sign.
Yep.
And then 9 department signs, so we'll have 1 identity sign and 4
Four
department signs,
department
wall signs, okay.
Is there a second?
Second.
And I vote yes. To do the roll call, Jaleesa, how do you vote?
Yes.
Paige?
Yes.
Serena, yes, so the motion carries, 184 is approved with the condition of there being 1 identity sign and 4 departmental signs or directional, whatever word we're using, directory, department, you choose the word.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for.
Yes, so I'll resubmit this front exterior elevation with the modifications, okay? And I'll have all the rest of the Saxton sign stuff modified so that you have a package of the identity sign and wall signs that were approved, okay? Would I be able to install the signs tomorrow?
no, you have to obtain a permit to
A
do
building
that.
permit for it or a sign permit?
It's a signed permit.
Yeah.
That is, you will submit to the building department
Okay,
and a building inspector will issue a permit.
okay,
So
so
you
I
have
will
to
reach
get-
out to Saxton Signs, who
Yes.
will take care of that for me, and they'll do that
Yes.
as soon as possible. And the goal would be to be able to have them up before next Friday. And listen, I appreciate everyone's time and effort for this, thank you very much, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Everyone have a good evening.
You too. So what else do we have to do? Do we have to approve minutes or anything?
Yes. Did everyone have an opportunity to read the minutes from the April 3rd meeting and the May, jeez,
They look great.
May 8th meeting?
Yes, thank you for sending those.
Okay.
I did get to review those.
I move that we adopt the April 3rd, 2024 and May 8th, 2024 minutes.
I vote yes. So roll call, Delisa, how do you vote?
Yeah.
Paige?
Yes.
Serena votes yes, so that motion carries and those meetings are approved. Those minutes are approved. Any
Move to
other-
adjourn.
Okay, see, I think we get out. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, and I vote yes. Delisa, how do you vote?
Yeah.
Paige?
Yeah.
Serena, yes, this meeting is adjourned.
Sorry, I didn't go back to the Capitol, so I'm like,
I know, you've got what, look, 2 more days?